Welcome to the PHNX Rising podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. My name is Ramon Chavez. I'm super thrilled to be here. The reason I was chuckling is because I hadn't seen the intro image until now. It was the llama. So.
Oh, the llama, yeah. Yeah.
And as always, my partner, Owain Evans. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. I'm looking forward to a weekend that is sure to be incredibly crazy in all the worst possible ways.
You're just describing Vegas overall, but it's gonna be a good time over there. And you're gonna be over there, right?
Yeah. I made the bad error of taking off tomorrow.
Ooh,
yeah.
Okay. See, he's gonna have some time. We'll see. We'll see if we can get some content from Owain from Sin City. And as always, we also have El Jefe, Edwin Perez. How are you, sir?
Good. Repping the green because it's St. Patty's Day. Ramon, no green on?
This is kind of green, but I don't know.
Come on. Could have whipped out the Mexico jersey today.
That's
old
true.
Aztec
That's true.
jersey.
Totally
Come
forgot.
on now.
Darn it.
It's all right.
I failed you.
If you have a good show, we'll let you off.
Okay. Appreciate it. Appreciate that. And as always, if you are watching us right now, we saw, there were a few of you guys waiting. We appreciate that. Go ahead and subscribe, like, and share the show. It really helps us out here at PHNX, not only for Rising, for our Rising show, but all the other shows. And you were on another show today, right?
Yeah, I was on the Phoenix Sports podcast today. So, yeah.
Did you like those questions, or you?
Well, there was a lot of good Rising questions in there, so I mean, yeah, it's always.
I think they were trying to get Michaela and see if something would happen.
Yeah, but I was expecting PT to come in with more insight on the centre back situation, but alas, didn't have any.
Yeah, step by step. We're
getting in there.
Everybody's kind of giving us questions about Rising, and then having Owain here, he's expert. So
by the end of the year, they're all going to be diehards.
Heck yeah, we're working on a game where everybody can go. That way we can all hang out. So we'll see if we can do that. But yeah, we have a great show for you today. We're going to be talking, of course, about Saturday's game against Las Vegas Lights. It's going to be an away match, and that's going to be on Saturday at 7 p.m. Cashman Field, right? That's the name of the
Cashman Field, yeah, an old AAA baseball stadium.
That's awesome. What's with this AAAs in the USL? Is this just an agreement, or?
It's just the situation. I think half the time it's not a great stadium. I'll be honest.
We need that content over there. We'll make sure to ask Owain about that. We're gonna talk about Vegas and some of the infamous past. I'll call them stunts that they've they've done in the past, and Owain has plenty of those. We're gonna do a little power ranking just to see which one is the best to worst, and we'll see what's going on with that. Also, we're going to talk about some more USL games. We're going to give you the game of the week according to everybody here, and we're just going to have a great time tonight. So let's go ahead and get started. But before we do that, if you guys haven't yet, make sure to go to gophnxlocker.com and purchase our PHNX Rising podcast shirt. Did not bring it today. I used it yesterday, so it's laundry day, but it's beautiful. If you guys haven't gotten it yet, Edwin, what happened with your shirt, man?
My shirt? You talking about the Rising brand? I'm still waiting for my shirt. I guess it's still in the mail. It's still coming. Don't you worry. If once we hit 500 followers, I might finally get a shirt.
There you go. And as far as our followers, 473 last time I checked.
It's going up. We're creeping
going up. So yeah, 500. That's what we're going for.
To the moon.
To the moon. But yeah, shout out to Michael, Scott, Jacobs in the chat over there. But let's go ahead and get started with the preview. So again, Rising is facing off against Las Vegas Lights. The last match for Rising, of course, they got the W against Monterey Bay, 4-2. And Las Vegas did not have the same luck as Rising. They fell to New Mexico United by the score of 2-0. So for people that aren't acquainted, Owain, with Las Vegas Lights and kind of like their history here, they've only been around for, a few years since 2018, but they've already made a name for themselves, but maybe not for the right reasons.
Yeah, a few years. It feels like they've been around for too long. Look, am I going to launch straight in with a bit of controversy? Hot take?
Do it. That's what people
stain on the league. Club is a stain on the league because of some of the stuff that they do. And I don't think that that's really up for debate. Okay. I think that if you want this league to be taken seriously, you can't do half the stuff that they do. Mm-hmm. But hey, they do it. They're not a team that have had a great deal of success. They have never made the playoffs. In fact, Rising have lost to them only once, despite meeting quite a lot, especially over these last few years with the, COVID,
they faced
different realignment, and even this season they're playing them 3 times.
Yeah.
Look, they're not a very good team. More recently, they've become a feeder team. Last year, they entered into a 1-year agreement that was extended for this year. they effectively serve as though they are a reserve team.
Jacob.
So
in the chat.
yeah,
Come on,
yeah.
Jacob.
Congratulations to
you're driving. Come on, man.
Jacob knows what he's talking about here. See, I told you we were indoctrinating them slowly in the ways of USL Championship.
Nice,
but look, it's great to have a team like Las Vegas Lights. Where do the players live in Vegas? No, no. They get shipped in from LA because they're LAFC's reserve team.
That's not good. Yeah. No, it's definitely an interesting team. The more I was looking into them, the more I'm like, what is going on here?
Interesting. Interesting's a word.
I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be nice to them, but yeah, definitely not a great 2021 for them. Looking at the record here, 6 wins, 23 losses, 3 draws, 8th place in the Western Division. Preseason, from what I saw, they had one canceled match against LA Galaxy 2, another one where they beat Orange County 3-0. Last year, looking at they had the second lowest goal differential, -36, and the most shots conceded. What is going on there?
They're awful. I look, maybe that's harsh, and it's probably harsh because you have to think about it in the context of the fact that these are reserve players. These are often players in their young 20s who, might well have a hell of a future ahead of them, but they're not there yet. Yeah. And when you've got a team full of them, that causes you problems.
Yeah.
They also, of course, every single game is an away game for them because they don't live in Vegas. In fact, their only home game of the season is when they play away to LA Galaxy 2.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe Orange County is close enough, I guess, is almost. But
yeah. So looking at this from an outside perspective, again, I'm kind of new to Las Vegas, to the team and USL in some ways. So it seems like there's a disconnect between management, the product that's on the field, and trying to fit into that Vegas mold. You have the Vegas Knights that are successful. You have the Raiders that just moved there. You have that brand new stadium. There's a lot of stuff going on there, and I think they're actively pursuing an MLS bid as well. So I think there's too many chefs, and not enough great product on the field. And when you have a mix of the USL veterans that are trying to, win, you have those young kids, like you're saying, from LAFC, and maybe an LAFC that doesn't really care about the results on the field. They're just trying to, get their guys out there, get some reps. That's a recipe for a really bad team.
I mean, just to point out now, based on what you were saying, to be clear here, it's not Lights who are going for that MLS franchise. There is another ownership group looking to bring an MLS team to Las Vegas. As far as I can tell, Brett Lashbrook has nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
And to be fair, if they'd seen his USL team, that is with good reason. I think it's just a point whereby their entire shtick is they see Vegas and they think, it's gimmicky, bit tacky, in your face and brash and obnoxious.
Yeah.
And the problem is that they're like that. Vegas can be cheap at times, but they are like dollar store Vegas, okay? It's bad.
They're not Bellagio. They're Circus kind of ranking.
I think that's being unkind to Circus. I'm sorry.
That's true. Families do have fun there. You're right. So, Justin. But, it's just weird. And I feel like as, being in Vegas, like why, if I was a Vegas fan, like why would I invest myself in this team? After this year, when the extension of that partnership with LAFC ends, they're Fremont, not the Strip. Nice.
They're not even Fremont. They're like north of that. They just
old Vegas stuff. But it's just I just don't see, if I was a Vegas fan, why would I be invested? So after this partnership ends, maybe with MLS, doing their own thing now. Do you see Las Vegas maybe putting a little bit more effort with I'm looking at the comments here, a little bit more effort into what they put on the field?
I look, when they were an independent team, I didn't feel that they did a very good job of that.
Yeah.
They did have Eric Winalda, did put some effort in there. Are they necessarily going to get a coach who's actually going to be any good after the deal with LAFC, which, to be clear, also includes the coaching staff? We saw with Steve Cherundolo was the manager last year, ended up getting promoted up. He's now managing LAFC's first team.
Yep.
Funnily enough, I actually see, and especially if the MLS bid happens, or if the MLS team happens, which all indications from Don Garber seem to be, yes, that's where they're looking to go. I think that's the death of Las Vegas Lights. I think that as a team already, they seem to be really struggling to get people in, despite every single gimmicky ticket giveaway that they can possibly attempt. And some of them are just atrocious ticket giveaways.
I saw one where if you bring your ticket stub from a bus ride,
you get half off.
You get a half off for cheap tickets.
Yes, if you ride the bus, you get half off. If you, some of these are old ones. Buy pizza, you get it. Buy a couple of tall boys, you get a ticket.
$50 of groceries at a certain store.
Yeah. Buy groceries, you get a ticket. You go to Denny's, you get a ticket. You bring in some bottle caps, you get a ticket. How many tickets are they giving away?
I mean, props for them for pushing public transportation. I'm a big fan of that. But yeah, I'm just saying, like, that's...
Look, none of these things are the hallmark of a team that is successful, that is going to be successful, that is going to have a long future. And you know, that's even... We're really going after them for all the off-field stuff.
Yeah.
And we're going after them for the playing team that they put out there. But let's talk about the other thing there, which is the playing surface. Cashman Field is atrocious, right? That pitch, they tear it up every game by running a motorcycle over it, right? Genuinely now, they put Cash, their mascot, on a bike and have him shoot along with smoke coming out of the back. In fact, the last time I was there, I saw flames coming out of the back of this motorcycle. I don't think it was meant to do that, but it was happening.
Yeah.
And then, you know, they bring the llama out and have that graze around on the pitch. And then after the game, they invite everybody onto the pitch to come and have the one game they had water balloon fight at halftime. That playing surface is atrocious. It's really, really, you know, sometimes you look at it and it can be brown. It's just... And they've not got the excuse anymore. Are we sure
that's not the llama doing their thing, or is that what you're
They've not got the excuse anymore. They used to have an excuse. The excuse was that it was a baseball surface, it was complicated, you know, they were sharing it with a AAA team, and that really is complicated because they've got to take the infield grass, you know, in and out and replace the mound and all of that stuff. That team has been gone for a while now. This has been Las Vegas's... It's been Lights' stadium, if I'm not mistaken, since the 2019 stadium without interruption. They need to fix that pitch. Like, that's not good enough.
Thank you, Scott, for that comment. I think he's holding back a little bit. But no, appreciate all the comments over here. Yeah, we got there was one with an Eric Winalda tell-all. That's the one that we need. That was a weird situation, right?
Really weird.
And then,
weird.
Of course, we have a Mexican coach come in, Chelis, who's infamous in Mexico. And did a really bad job as well.
Remember when Chelis got, didn't he get suspended for going after a fan once?
He got suspended, and then he had his son coach, and then ultimately they
But
they
he
all
got suspended,
fired.
I think it was here. In Arizona when he got into...
Yeah, and he's known as a hothead in Mexico. He's part of all those pundit shows that they have over there.
Look, I think, and Scott's picked up on this, like, the disdain for Vegas is real. And it's... Unfortunately, in a lot of ways, it's disdain that they've brought on themselves. Again, this team is a stain on the league. We sit here, we have serious talk about football. We try and make it, you know, this league it needs legitimacy. And it has a lot of teams that take it very seriously and go out there to try and put the best product on the field that they can, that go out there to try and promote the game, that go out there to try and, you know, really grow the game in their areas and grow the lower levels of the game in this country.
Yeah.
And then you have a team like Vegas that just go, forget all that. Let's get some llamas.
Yeah, not a good look, and I agree. And the more I find out about it, the more I'd be really upset if they do get that MLS franchise, you know, because I think that may be nail in the coffin when it comes to Phoenix having something maybe in the future, at least in my opinion. But I know we talk about the off-field stuff a lot. Let's focus on the field at least a little bit.
They do have a team.
They do have a team. Some players
they got players.
Pretty good. But yeah, as far as you already mentioned Steve Cherundolo, who's now at LAFC. The new head coach is Enrique Duran, who used to be the LAFC Academy coach and also used to be the Barcelona Academy coach as well. So I can see why he was hired to be brought in, especially with the amount of LAFC players that they have on the roster. Cal Jennings is the person the player that stands out for me the most when it comes to players that you should be looking for or are the most impactful in that team.
Oh, 100%. He scored 10 goals last year on a very poor Vegas team. 4 of those goals came against Phoenix Rising.
Ooh.
Okay? He is a young player, versatile player who can play out on the wing, play as a centre forward, And he's the kind of guy that if you have a slim lead late in the game, you've got to be worried about, because if he gets the ball in a dangerous situation, I really wouldn't count him out. And, even if their team don't look like they're creating very much, which they might not be creating very much, they weren't creating very much for long periods of time against New Mexico in their last game. He is someone who can just turn the game around. And again, look, he had a hat trick in that 6-3 game. That was a lot of goals. 6-3 game it was in October during the afternoon. So it's pretty hot there actually in October in Vegas for an afternoon game. But very good player.
Another player that I when doing my research, Danny Trejo, 23 years old. He was injured a lot from last season, but in his last 9 appearances, he was able to score 4 goals. He's their number 10. So he's one of those players that is always going to be dangerous. And the more I looked into the team, the more I see that they have a lot of Mexican American players coming from the LAFC Youth Academy over there. So some examples: Bruce Almesmari was part of the Mexican Under-17 World Cup, who was runner-up against Brazil in 2019. Tony Leone, who looks like an amazing prospect at the center back position for Mexico. He was over there at the representing Mexico in the Under-20 team, as well as the 2021 Revelations Cup. So a lot of great players here coming from LAFC, and like you're saying, they don't live there because they're from LA, so they're getting a lot of reps. But I'm, as a Mexican fan, I'm looking forward to kind of seeing these players out there as well. Maybe not the best situation for them to be in, especially with the teams such as Las Vegas. But I'm happy to see that. So
there are a couple of other players as well, guys like Danny Crisostomo, guys like Mo Traore, they're not necessarily bad. These guys, but a lot of them are young, and it's just not necessarily the best environment. I mean, another guy who we're going to see now who is on the opposite end of that spectrum is Dekel Kainen, he joined them last season, made his debut, I believe, last weekend. So it's his first trip back to Cashman now. 37 years old. So as a centre-back, you got to run at him. But he has played at a high level. He's a former Sac Republic, actually played for Sac Republic before Lights. Former Israeli international, played in the Premier League with Blackpool, played in the Championship with Cardiff. He's got a pretty decent resume coming into this game, but
and I think that's the type
he's
of
getting on.
But that's the type of guy that you want next to these young guys. Help them develop, especially in the back line, of course. So, key departures from last year: Bryce Duke. He ended up going to Inter Miami and MLS, so that's one of their big losses. But when it comes to Las Vegas, what else can we expect? You saw some of the New Mexico game last week. They had more possession than New Mexico, ended up, losing by 2-0. But what's going on? There's maybe some bright spots in that Las Vegas team?
They couldn't do anything with the ball. They had the possession. They couldn't do anything with it. I mean, look, they came out in a 4-3-3, and I'd be surprised if they don't do similarly. A lot of these teams, especially the ones that are like reserve teams, expect to see sometimes more consistency. They don't often... Because this is where you get now into the clash, and it kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier, which is when you're a reserve team, you're not playing to win. You're playing to develop players and get them used to certain situations and all of that, but you're not playing to win. Brett Lashbrook might want his team to lift a trophy at the end of the year, and the LAFC guys aren't going to say no to that. But that's not their priority. Their priority is making sure that those individual players are ready if they're needed to step in at a first team level. So you'll see a lot more consistency often between maybe how they try and play between games. The other thing I found was really interesting, they only named 6 players to the bench in that last game.
That's what I'm noticing here, because I'm looking at the stats from last game as well. Yeah, what do you feel like that was? Just not enough players on the rosters, or
who knows? It's especially can be messy with these reserve teams, and can be when they travel away as well. Which, unfortunately, again, as we've said, they're all away, right? Because you never quite know who's going to play, and Michael makes that point there.
Yeah, thanks.
Because the first team has different needs each week. Maybe one week you want someone else better in there, but look.
You have an injured player from LAFC trying to get some reps for the team. They get right to the starting lineup. I could definitely see that.
And just to Scott's point here, as he mentioned about, they had a decent passing accuracy. One thing that I found really quite interesting there, they had a very, very poor crossing accuracy, if you look up. So what you ended up with was it's just an inability to play the ball in really from those wide areas, which kind of just leaves you in a rough position, actually, as an attacking unit.
Yeah. Do you see any I think Rising will probably have more possession this game, but we saw that Monterrey in the last game ended up with more possession than Rising. So is that going to be an issue maybe with Rising? Are you okay with them maybe getting up in the lead and then kind of setting back a little bit?
I think the way that I'll put this, and I know it's how Rick described the San Diego 1-0 away win last year. Mm-hmm. They can have all the possession they want. If you want to pass that ball, once Rising has taken the lead, if you want to possess the ball in your back line, sitting behind the halfway line as much as you want, who cares? Yeah. Once you're winning, who cares? Pass it around the back. Your centre-backs want to, just knock it between each other for 10 minutes, do it. Mm. It's doing their job for them. Like, it's great for Rising if that happens, because if you're playing around with it back there, you're not a threat to anybody.
Yeah. What can Rising fans expect on Saturday on the field? I know James Musso is out. Is Madrid going to be again on the starting lineup? Is that what you're feeling?
So yeah, James Musso he was named on Tuesday as questionable for the match, and that's of course with the caveat that he hadn't been training as of Tuesday. And based on that and that alone, I doubt that we'll see him in the starting lineup because why push it? It's Vegas. Mm-hmm. I think that we're probably going to see Manuel starting again. The Ryan Flood thing is interesting. I'm intrigued to see how that quite works because Ryan Flood is a guy who we've gotten used to seeing as someone who provides a lot of threat from the back. Mm-hmm. As in that wing-back kind of position, he'll go bombing up the wing, and you can't do that if you're a centre-back. Don't get me wrong, pace is great, right? Everyone wants a pacey centre-back who's going to deal with someone, especially a guy like Carl Jennings who can be a handful, right? But he's going to have to really suppress some of that attacking urge. It's interesting. Look, I don't really know what we're going to see. Musa might be on the bench even, but...
So would you be surprised if Flood started instead of Madrid?
I mean, if you were going to pick any opponent to do it against, why not? Why not? Seriously. But I think I would be simply because I don't view it as... without seeing what they've been doing on the training ground in that particular kind of role, Flood doesn't strike me as a natural centre-back. Yeah. It'll just be interesting, and maybe it will pull off, right? That's something we can't really know until we actually see it happen. Yeah. But yeah, I think I'd be quite excited to see it, though.
Yeah, just to see how it worked out.
Just to see how it works, yeah.
Yeah, Scott's saying, expect anything, literally anything. Showgirls, clown cars, cheap races, anything. I mean, maybe a Jonathan Levin appearance. He did play there for a little bit, so...
Yeah, maybe we'll put him in goal. Who knows?
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. We talked about the Vegas players that Rising should keep an eye out, but Cal Jennings is the main one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind that Cal Jennings is the guy on their team, barring some bizarre twist of circumstances where Danny Masovsky, it is Masovsky, just shows up. No, you know?
Besides that question right there, what's there? And I was talking with Edwin about this a little bit earlier. He feels like Babu should be the guy that should step up from last game and try to really have a great game on Saturday against Vegas. I feel Santi Moore should be the guy that maybe steps up a little bit this season. I know he's frustrated. You can see it when he's out there, his body language, the lack of goals, or maybe even chances at goal. Who, in your opinion, is the guy that this Saturday needs to step up and come out really well from that Vegas game?
That's... Of course, both of you pick the guys who the question mark, and Edwin, feel free to hop in here.
Let's go.
The two of you. Why Babu? Why
the
Babu?
Two of you pick the guy though. The two guys though. That it's about the chemistry between them. That's been the problem.
Yeah. Well, for me, I think Babu at times hesitated too much. I think there was times in the back line where he had control and was gonna whack it forward, but he hesitated, which led to turnovers. And if you looked at the last game, Monterey Bay kind of saw Babu as the weakness and attacked his flank. Mm-hmm. And, when you have that happen, it kind of shows you maybe what he was doing in the game, his performance. So I really do think that Babu had a great preseason. That I think he's a better player than what we saw in the first game. So that's why I really think that he's a player for me to step up, because I'm not too worried about Santi because, like you said, it's going to be chemistry. They're going to figure it out, but it's Santi more. I mean, yes, he will afford a bag game here and there, but he was last year's MVP, and he's going to step up when need be. So I just really think that Babu in a Las Vegas game should be able to dominate the Las Vegas attack, which I don't think is as great.
You know what I'm going to say? If you wanted some kind of evidence that this could be the game that Santi steps up this season, you were disappointed last time. If you look at the goal scoring in this series between these two teams, the player who scored the most goals in between these two teams, Rufat Dadashov with 6. And next up, you got 2 players on 5, Solomon Asante and Santimar. Right? He scored a lot against these guys. So, hey, it could well be. And that's, a lot of these games against them are high-scoring games. Yeah. Really high-scoring games. I mean, look, last year it was 6-3 was the one. There was a 4-1 in there, a 2-2, and a 5-1.
Might as well,
Rising scored less than 4 goals in one of those games.
Yeah. No, I mean, and that's what I mean. It's not a criticism of Santi Moore, the reason that I'm putting him as far as the guy that needs to step up. There's changes in the front line. Of course, Greg Hirsch had an amazing game. Marcus Epps is going to do his thing. So I want Santi to kind of continue with that momentum that he built last year and continue it onto this season. Now, is he probably gonna get the same amount of goals that he did last year? I maybe don't believe so. I don't think so. But I still want him to be involved, and that's because I see the frustration in him, and we see how competitive he is. And during the preseason, I think he kicked the ball out to the stands because he was just so frustrated because he couldn't get a clear shot at goal or have these really great opportunities. So I just, it's more of like a you can do it kind of thing. Like he can step up to that.
Yeah, and confidence is huge for a goal scorer. Yeah. Really huge. And it's why I think that, I especially was so big on saying I thought that Greg Hurst's performance in that opening game was massive because it's just getting him off the mark. And not only scoring, but having a contribution with an assist, it's getting that comfort level is just huge. But, since we've been speaking about all the goals that have been scored, I know, you've had some concerns over the back line and defensively. Do you want to link onto my next thing?
There hasn't been too many clean sheets this preseason. I kind of floated this idea to you guys. Is this a concern, when it comes to the back line? I know there's been injuries and stuff like that. Is that something fans should really keep an eye on? I know with Rick, I know you asked him after the game about the two goals at the end of the Monterrey game. He didn't really care too much about it, as long as they got the win. But as a fan, it's like, is this something with our defense? Is that Ben Lunt? What's going on in that department? Any opinions on that?
So I know they've been analysing that. Look, at the end of the day, I'm not sure that I'm concerned about conceding 2 goals when you score 4. Yeah. I think that as long as the goal scoring keeps clicking, defensively, it wasn't the best, but it was a half-hour spell at the end of that game when they were a little bit shakier. For 60 minutes, Monterrey Bay could barely get a sniff in. I think that one thing that's going to be interesting in this game, though, if we're looking for the defense in particular, is that I believe it's the last 7 games against Vegas, Rising have kept a clean sheet only once. Now, in a lot of those games, they have blown Vegas out, right? You score 4 or 5 goals, so I guess, conceding a goal may not feel that big, but they don't tend to keep clean sheets against Las Vegas Lights.
Yeah. No, we'll see. We'll see what happens on Saturday. I'm just looking at that consistency. When it comes to goal scoring, perfectly fine. Keeping that consistency the entire 90 minutes. And we talked about this on Tuesday. That's what I'm sure most fans agree. That's what Rising need to improve. All right, guys. So let's wrap up this preview for the Vegas game. Let's go with score predictions. Let's see what we got. Edwin, we were a little bit off last time in our score predictions for last week's game, but what are we feeling this week?
Technically, weren't we closer than Owen? Because Owen said 3-0.
He said 3-0. That's right. 3-1. That's right. You and I
so we tied.
Yeah.
Sorry, Owen. Sorry, I got to do it.
The only team that has let me down on the USL bets this season is Phoenix Rising. That should have won by a 3-goal margin.
Score prediction. It's so easy to follow up a big, scoring with another big one. I'll go, you know what? I think this time we'll see the 3-1. I truly think that they will. I like to see another strong attacking performance, which I think they will. I don't know if they're gonna score as much as last time, and I do think the defense is still figuring themselves out, so they'll let in a goal. I don't think it'll be 2. I think after last time, Rick set them straight about it, and they're not gonna lose their focus. So I think they let in one. I'll go 4-1. How about that to spice it up a little bit? Yeah, 4-1.
Were you going 4-1?
I was looked at Scott's and I'm like,
I was
maybe not
also
nailed,
going to go
but-
4-1. We're all unanimous
all right,
here.
4-1,
I mean,
everybody.
Look, and this is what I'll give as the rationale for this. If you look at the history of this series, Rising averages about 3 1/3 goals each game, right? 40 goals in 12 matches. That's insane. Over 12 matches against an opponent, you're averaging over 3 goals a game. So I'm rounding that up to 4. Vegas has 16 goals in 12 matches, so round that down because they're not very good. 4-1, we'll go with that.
Yeah, we got Scott with 4-0, Michael with 5-2, Justin with the 3-1, and Rising Nation with the 6-2. 3-1 Santi brace for Prato goal. Ooh, I like that one. That'd be good. I like that.
Claudio won at the end, is it? Yeah.
I like it. Yeah, definitely.
I want to see Richmond in this game.
Richmond and Sweet.
He wasn't on the bench last time.
He was on the sideline though. He was right there by the.
But I want to see him as an option, and if he's a guy for the future, I want to see him get some minutes. Then get some. If you're gonna prepare that 4-4-2 for whatever they use it, then give him some minutes against teams like Las Vegas Lights.
That's true,
I think
man.
it could be valuable.
He's always reposting my pictures of him, so appreciate it. Thank you, Richmond. But no, great stuff here, and again, 4-1 predictions over here from the PHNX Rising guys. So, when it comes to betting, you are going to be in Vegas, Owen, and you did, come pretty close in your parlays last week. So, definitely get those bets on DraftKings, and so
5 correct, one incorrect.
Oh,
That's not bad on the picks, is it?
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, speaking of DraftKings, you guys know what time it is. It's March Madness time, and if you're a college basketball fan, this is a time to fill in your brackets, fill in your bets, and you guys can have a great time. So. During the biggest tournament of the year, we want you to use DraftKings Sportsbook. Turn your team's victory into your own big win. New customers can bet just $5 on any team to win and get $200 in free bets. If they do win, you win. It's that simple. DraftKings Sportsbook customers can also bet on college hoops with same-game parlays. Combine multiple bets with the same game for a bigger payout. The more legs you add, the more money you can win. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. Best of all, you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. Download DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code PHNX. Bet $5 on any college hoops team to win and get $200 in free bets if they do. If they win, you win with the promo code PHNX this week at DraftKings Sportsbook. You do have to be 21 and over. Arizona only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. You told me that DraftKings went down today. What happened?
I don't have a clue.
Is that the March Madness stuff going on? Any of the entrants here now? No? A little bit? Am I just making stuff up?
So many people.
Okay.
Look, clearly, it's the fashionable thing. Get on there. Get on there now.
I went in there to collect my money today, and it was crashed. So that's actually.
Well, I think it was
makes me feel better.
It was the Gonzaga, right?
It's all the excitement of the...
That boost? Come on.
It's very exciting. Look, just join in, guys. Everyone get on there. Seriously.
Yeah.
Go do it.
Owen's going to give you picks, because Owen's really good at USL picks.
yeah.
So
I'll have some more USL picks when the odds go up, probably tomorrow, if not Saturday morning.
Yeah.
I'll get some USL picks for Saturday's games.
and me and my Ramon will give you Liga MX picks.
We'll get
We
you
already
going.
talked about it
Oh,
pre-show.
man.
We're
I gotta
gonna win
watch
you.
more
We're
games.
gonna win you some money this weekend.
Yeah, we got you.
We're
some
gonna
money.
win you some money this
DraftKings again,
weekend.
reliable.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen again. It's just because everybody's so crazy. Everybody wants to get some money. So if you want to get in there,
Go ahead and slap all of your money. Put your house on a rising win this
second
weekend.
mortgage. Whoa.
You know?
No. Okay.
On a rising win,
Yeah.
do it. Yeah. I
But
mean,
it's gonna be like
It's okay.
minus
So
minus
why-
600.
Why can't millennials get houses? Because they've been betting too much. I'm just kidding. But yeah,
but
definitely.
if you followed us, you'd already have the house.
there you go.
There we go.
Owen's picks of the week. We're gonna start that now. Let's have a little bit of fun, guys, here with Vegas. I know we've been bashing on Vegas a little bit, but let's do
We're
a little
talking
bit of
about
power
Vegas,
rankings.
Vegas being Vegas.
Yeah.
I think we got different tiers, right? Should we
Yeah.
just sort them into tiers? Power rankings feels too elaborate. Let's just do tiers.
Yeah, let's do tiers.
So we got what? Top tier, mid tier, and then what is it? Llama go into the toilet on the field tier. Which did happen once, by the way. Kickoff was delayed once because of that.
Oh man, you did say that
Got a
the
lot of Las Vegas.
field was brown.
Yeah.
The thing you mentioned a couple times that they threw money from a helicopter.
Yeah,
onto the
so let's
fans.
start with a cash drop.
Yeah.
All right, this is a good one. I think the cash drop from the helicopter, to me, that is iconic Las Vegas lights. How do you feel, Edwin?
I think it's It's very Las Vegas theming. You know, money. Come on, Vegas helicopter drop. It just makes sense.
Name something that is more Las Vegas lights than getting multiple warnings from the Federal Aviation Administration. Seriously now.
That's true.
That's got to be God tier. That's at the top. That's at the top, surely.
I think that's
up there, top tier. That's top tier.
Especially like at the little rest of the list. I'm cheating a little bit, but I think that's one of the God tiers that we have.
That's great, isn't it?
God tier.
Yeah. Okay.
If you look on their Wikipedia page, they have a whole section called Club Culture.
Oh no!
They got
you know that's not good.
Culture
They got
is
culture over there.
Culture is a choice of word.
So the lights have used unusual promotions and gimmicks to attract fans, including a DJ in the supporter section.
I'm not even ranking that. That can just go straight in the bin.
And 2 llamas. That's what it says here. So let's talk about those llamas.
Let's do the llamas now. You know what? Llamas
are for the llamas.
Well, it's not 2 llamas to be clear. We've actually only got 1 left because dear Dottie here died about a year ago.
Rest in peace. They want the tribute video. Let me say that.
Unfortunately, I know we're being asked for a tribute
wind.
video. We don't have a tribute video loaded in the thing to play.
It wasn't in the budget this
And
week.
Michael's
there
curious
wasn't
what
a
happened to Dottie.
You know. But look, I know that Rising fans have a song about the fact that Dottie
Michael
is
wants you to sing
dead,
it,
and they
so-
don't really care about that fact because at the end of the day, Rising are going to win the league. But look, I think that the Llamas as a whole just. Again, that's why are we starting with the good ones? I think the llamas are also iconic.
We need to build up? Okay.
Iconic Las Vegas lights. I'm putting them top tier. Edwin?
Top tier. I mean, if you see the chat loves the llamas, and you know
Dolly and Dottie. Well, only Dolly now, but
F in the chat.
it
for
used to
Dottie.
be Dolly and Dottie.
Yeah, let's put some F's in the chat for
F in the
Dottie.
chat.
Yeah.
F's in the chat.
Rest in peace. But we do have Dolly, which is the Dalai Lama. So yeah, really cheeky there. We do have Cash, the soccer rocker, which is a dancing caricature of Johnny Cash and Elvis Presley, who rides a Harley Davidson motorcycle.
God, no.
Around the
No.
stadium.
You were talking
No.
about this on Twitter the other day, Owen.
Right, the motorcycle, you know what? Just purely for the fact that motorcycle rips up the pitch, I'm putting that in the bottom tier. I also think that as a mascot, it's like, you couldn't do better than just putting... They say like it's like Johnny Cash. No, it's just like a really, really cheap Elvis costume. Like, I said
I don't see the Johnny Cash
at the
in
bottom.
that.
Cash at the bottom now.
The team players are rewarded casino chips for regular season home wins with 3 or more goals out of a pot of 30,000 supplied by the Plaza Hotel and Casino.
That's good. Never.
I don't know what to
I
say.
haven't
I don't know what to
This is
say
the
about
thing. Now,
that.
this was kind of like interesting back when no one else had sports gambling.
Yeah.
Right? But now everyone has it. So it's just a bit like all the like gambling stuff that they had from that 2018 season now just feels like it's past its sell by date now.
Yeah.
It's no longer as gimmicky and fun anymore.
Field cabanas and pools. I kind of like that. It's
The
Vegas.
kiddie
It's
pools?
hot
The
in there.
kiddie pools. The kiddie
pool.
pools.
Oh, they're not
They
like
put-
actual like
right.
Diamondbacks pools. Like not. They're
No,
not really.
No,
nice.
No.
it's kiddie pools.
Oh fuck.
You know what? You know what? No, they are like genuinely little kiddie pools. Do I have a picture?
I don't want to pull a solid.
It's not. Unfortunately, it can't be shown on the broadcast because it's not loaded in there.
No, like kiddie pools.
Let's
Yeah,
see.
like-
No,
you
I
know
don't
the
have any
kiddie pools
pictures
you
in
see
here,
on
but
the
there
field
are.
that you,
They
like,
just line
pose
like
in.
little like the little tiny inflatable kiddie pools that like you put in your like backyard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
the
it,
one,
right?
yeah.
And look, I think the thing about that, and I'll wrap that in with the mattresses as well, even though I think the mattresses are like ultimate low tier. I'll put the kiddie pools in mid tier.
Okay.
That's fair.
But I know that in that mattress game, a kid got smacked in the face with a ball because they're like, you know, not even 5 yards away from the edge of the pitch, and that's just not like that's not on.
Yeah.
Okay, you're
That's
putting
not on.
people in harm's way in a situation like that, and it's like, what do you do? Because this kid is like right next to the pitch. You can't just go, "Oh, we're gonna play on." So they had to stop play.
My feeling when
Right.
people get hit, it's like you go to the game to watch the game. If you're not paying attention to the game, you get hit.
Yeah,
it's
but if
not
you
on
put
the
a
players.
5-year-old like 3 yards off a touchline, of course they're gonna get hit in the
I like the
face.
pools because then maybe
Right.
we'll get a rising
But
celebration of
think about
someone
it.
like belly flopping into the pool.
But the kiddie pools, they used to charge people to go in the kiddie pools, and they'll put the little pool there, and unless you're like 4, they give you a stool, and you have to sit on the stool next to it. So they don't even like let it be like amusing in the
There you
sense
go.
that an adult could just sit there.
Michael and I are.
Someone's doing a belly flop
right
into the kiddie pool. That's after the celebrations last year with Santi having his little
Who
sleeve.
at a Rising would do it if they did score? We saw Arturo with the beer last week, so.
Well, Santi did the mattresses. He went and like down like this on the mattress to celebrate a goal. Joey Calicio went over because that was actually one thing. They did a cornhole tournament, Joey Calicio will kill me for that because he'll say it's bags, right? But they did a cornhole tournament during the game. They were literally next to the pitch doing this cornhole tournament. So Joey just went over there and just was a celebration after he scored. Like
it's gonna be Lalo off the bench.
Lalo off the bench. Lalo with I'll take that.
Yeah.
Lalo off the bench.
They did also do a water balloon fight. What am I seeing here?
Oh no, that's low. That's low, right?
Was that halftime?
Yeah, it was at halftime. So they had to come out and play on that pitch after saying, "Everyone, come down on the pitch and just chuck water balloons around." Like, I can only imagine. I can just imagine how Rick would react.
This sounds like what's that movie with Will Ferrell where he fights like a bear because he's a basketball player?
Oh,
I forget the name.
Don't give them any ideas. Don't give them any ideas. Okay, we're like 2 weeks away.
We have
come
Cal
out with
Jennings
stuff like
against
that.
the bear.
You come out with stuff like that. Yeah, we are like 2 weeks away from them going. Guess who we brought back?
Dancing
Chalice, and he's gonna fight a bear.
There you go.
You know,
Kangaroo with boxing gloves. I don't want to drag too much on Vegas, but one more.
Is there more?
Is there anything more? I think that's it on my end. Semi-pro.
What else we got? Denny's Egg Benedict tickets. Remember that one?
Let's hear about that one.
That was, so if you bought an Eggs Benedict at Denny's, any Denny's as far as we could tell, and you bring that receipt to Cashman Field, you can get a free ticket. Now, I don't know why, but you can.
That's
right?
terrible.
Which tier are we putting this in?
I wouldn't get a Benedict at Denny's at all.
Well, that, but just also.
Which tier are we putting this in, boys? I'm thinking low.
That's mid, just for the culinary.
Toyota on the pitch. Michael Van der Plas here. Sorry, he's just hopped in woman. Toyota on the pitch.
Yeah.
Great one. I'm thinking mid tier because it's just crazy enough that like it's bad, but it doesn't actually impact the game because you are off the field. But it was weird. What else? I've got a couple more even here. Can we do Colleen the colon?
Yeah.
We've got a picture for this. Edwin, can you chuck the picture up? We got to see this, right?
We do.
So for any of you who are coming to the game, and Edwin just staying in the picture there. For any of you that are coming to the game and you want to walk through this delightful, inflatable
They
thing
make you walk through that,
into the arsehole of the league that is Cashman Field, welcome. It's going to be there to welcome you. So if you want to know what Crohn's disease looks like,
Is
you can
Cash
see
performing these checks or what?
I desperately hope
Oh my
not.
God. Imagine manning that table. It's like, hey, what'd you do today? I was over there at Cashman Field.
You know, it's
inflatable
one more we've really got to hit, and I may think of more as we go on, but one more. John Barr's face on the inside of the jersey.
Oh, that's legendary.
Tier? Which tier are we putting that? Does everyone remember that? John Barr. So John Barr is this guy who, I believe he's the general manager of, Finley Toyota.
Yeah, the car.
Yeah, and they were the shirt sponsor. So on the inside of the jersey, they had his face. So if you scored a goal and went around and lifted it up over your head, you would have John Barr's face.
Oh my God. No.
It was questionable.
It's creepy as hell.
It was creepy.
But it's...
Just imagine just buying a jersey and you just have someone's face inside of it.
Spend $120.
Just have someone's face inside.
You just got John Barr staring at you. Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, John.
Yeah.
Oh God, what else do we even?
I'm sure there's more.
There's gotta be more. They just do this dumb stuff all the time. Man. Oh, can I just give an honorable mention to the Las Vegas broadcasts? Really, guys, I love you, but every time I watch, I feel drunk. It's blurry. It's shaky. It's just awful. And I'm sorry, people who are going to be staying here and watching it, that's what you've got to look forward to. Unless they've somehow fixed it, that's what you've got to look forward to.
Me and Ramon.
Yeah, ESPN Plus is going to suffer, but... Oh, man. All right, well, thank you for the list. That was a lot of fun and not a great look
fun
for
is
Vegas.
one word.
Yeah, not a great look for Vegas here, but yeah, I don't even know how to segue to the next one. But anyway, talking more USL, we're going to wrap up the show over here with Around the USL with Owain and Edwin and see what are the games of the week. We did kind of talk about this a little bit before the show started. I have San Diego against Sacramento as my game of the week. That's one that's kind of interesting that people should maybe take a quick peek in if they are watching any USL action. But do you have any that you recommend people?
There's some interesting ones this week. I quite like the Miami Louisville game. I think that those are two teams that came off of good wins last week. Sorry, weren't too bad last year. Miami under their new coach, we'll see how they do, but I'm intrigued.
El Paso versus New Mexico United. That looks pretty good too.
It'll be a good game. It's a rivalry match. I do have to disagree with Nick Murray of USL Soccer. I do not agree that it is the best rivalry in this league. I don't know what you guys think on that one, but it should be a good game, but it's
Edwin
not the rivalry.
Yeah, I don't think it's the main one. I don't think it's, if you were to a non-USL soccer fan and say pick one rivalry to see, heated and give it like pure attention. I don't think it would be that rivalry. So I agree with you, Owen. I think there's many out there that's better than that.
But what if New Mexico actually, I guess, achieved to really make it? Like El Paso have done well, genuinely done well, being a competitor in a way that New Mexico haven't, and I feel like it's got to be a little bit of both ways, right? Same as when people throw up, and now this is slightly changed because Orange County won the cup last year. But people always used to throw out Orange County with the rival, and I always struggled with that for Rising's side, because Rising had achieved a lot, and Orange County were always kind of that team that just, not only had they not necessarily achieved as much, the fan base wasn't really there, it felt a bit like punching down. Yeah. And I almost wonder if with New Mexico United, actually, even from El Paso's perspective, maybe there's a bit of that there, and it kind of makes it not be as much of a showpiece as some people would claim it would be.
Yeah. That game is on ESPN Deportes from what I see here, so that's interesting.
Heck yeah. My kind of stream.
But yeah, let's touch on the San Diego one a little bit. You had some comments about them, because I said, you know what, they had the win last week. 97th minute? Is that
90 plus 7. Own goal against LA Galaxy 2. Look, I think that there's one legitimate contender playing in Torero Stadium on Saturday. And I think that's not San Diego Loyal. I think that Sacramento Republic are a good team. I'm really excited to see what they can actually achieve this year. I think that San Diego are a team that has some talent there. And they are a team that will not compete this year, but they will, I think that they'll be generally competitive in individual matches, but
more middle of the pack.
Yeah, I see him being more middle of the pack, and I think that, without being too disrespectful to the head coach there, I don't think he's actually necessarily doing the best job in terms of that side of the game. I think that sometimes their players are actually better than the way that they perform.
Okay. Yeah, and the reason I'm looking at that one, again, San Diego will play, it's coming to town the week after, or next week, so definitely something to keep a look at. All right, y'all, so I did want to mention another thing, too, which is these power rankings, because I don't know if you guys have seen the 538 website. They do a lot of predicting, not a lot of getting stuff right. But yeah, they posted.
Ouch! And I thought I was going to be the one who was going to be harsh.
See, I'm hanging out with Owen too much. I'm usually try to be positive.
He's becoming as bitter as I am.
Oh my god! But yeah, they posted these global power rankings, and Phoenix Rising came in at 474th in their global power rankings, which actually 7 down from their power rankings from last season. They're ironically next to Ipswich Town. They are on the rankings, and San Antonio is the highest ranked USL Championship team at 444. And then just for some context here, Man City, Liverpool, Bayern Munich, and Chelsea and Real Madrid make up the top 5. So, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, Rising's top 500 in the country. I mean, in the world, excuse me. Top 500 in the world. Phoenix Rising's top 500.
I think it's utter nonsense. I mean,
come on.
Let's be real here. God, please, someone tell me, when was the last time a USL team played a non-USL team in a competitive match? Seriously, when?
That's a great question.
Guys, have you got the year? I can give
Rising.
it to you.
They're scared of Phoenix Rising.
Yeah.
2019 Open Cup. 2019. We're in 2022.
Yeah.
It's the last time that a USL Championship team played another club from another league in a competitive match. Come on, how do you really draw these comparisons? How do you do all of that?
So I won't go too deep into it, but it's based off the Soccer Power Index, and there's 640 clubs on this list.
Yeah, and how do you calculate all of these?
I
mean, the methodology is on there, but,
yeah.
but how do you really consider the relativity between these different leagues? That's where it gets complicated. And
True.
there are a lot of factors that go into it beyond even just because I'm sure someone will check out with players moving around, but there are a lot of factors that go into it. Look, I'm not sure I fully believe all of those ones. And
Come on, Owen.
Just to kind of get the chat going over here. So Tampa Bay is 498. Lou City didn't even make the top 500, Edwin.
Ooh,
I don't know what they're doing
they're
down there in Lou City, but
they're top 500, Owen.
yeah. San Diego's 524, and Orange County, the champions, are 525. So I guess it didn't really help to win that championship.
But I felt Orange County were top of the power rankings in preseason. Orange County were number 1.
Yeah.
We said they shouldn't be number 1. See, these rankings I'm more for.
You're more and more with these ones. Maybe not San Antonio, but
I know.
Although Phoenix Rising, of course, are top of the USL power rankings now.
that's right.
You're not wrong.
That's right, and they're going to continue after this week. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it for our show today. Thank you for joining us today here on the chat. And here, let's see, Phoenix Rising, what did you say? Our playoff form. But yeah, no, thank you for everybody joining us today here on this Thursday. St. Patty's, you guys gonna go grab a drink after? Maybe?
Maybe, possibly. We'll see.
I drank yesterday.
What about you, Ramon? Come on.
Can't do it today.
Ah.
I gotta stay home one of these days.
Too busy.
I know. I have spring
He's
break.
got to
It's
give
already
himself
gone.
a rest every so often.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I'll be at Cobra, someday. So if you guys want to go over there.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to everybody following us, and especially on Twitter. We're almost to the 500. You guys can follow us at PHNX__rising.
Double the underscores, double the fun.
That's right. So hopefully by the end of this weekend, we get 500 followers. That'd be
Hopefully.
pretty nice.
Let's get there. Also,
nice.
we just shout out, we've had a lot of negativity in this one, and I appreciate that I'm saying that when I've been the one behind
look at this.
a lot of that
Look at
negativity.
this.
And it's, of course, not been about Rising, but let's be nice. Let's give a shout out to Union 602 and Bandidos and the hard work those guys are doing at the moment in fundraising to, deal with MS.
Yeah.
They're actually out there fundraising for that now, so be sure to check the supporters groups out. They're always a credit to this club.
Yeah, great stuff. Especially, not only their campaign, but on Saturday they had that amazing tifo that they're working on
that was really impressive. And there was a lot of work that went into that. I know I spoke about that after the game. I know that they put a lot of hours in out in the park when they were painting it, but it takes a lot, and even from the start with stitching the different materials together, that stuff. It's not just a case of going online and ordering it. You can't go on Amazon and order passion. And that's something that those guys have got in the bucket loads.
Yeah, great stuff, and appreciate
shout
those guys.
them out. It's truly why we're doing this too. Come on, that's why we have a show, because the fans wanted it. So you got to give them a shout out. Also, shout out our interns over here. You can't see them off screen, but they've been working. Come on, Owen, if you want to be optimistic and happy.
Yeah, shout out to the interns. You can't see them, you probably can't hear them, but they are indeed here.
They are. They are indeed here.
You guys want to say anything? Run over and hop in with Edwin.
They're probably wondering who this is, but
with our Lord and Savior, Long Tan.
Thank you.
As well as Dottie.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
All right, y'all. That wraps it up for us today. Stay tuned for our post game show on Saturday after the Las Vegas game. Owen will be tuning in remotely, so you'll see.
For my sins, I'll be there.
They'll be there. And you'll see Edwin and us and myself in the early post game show, and then we'll have Owen come in. But hope to see you there right after the show. We're ready for all your comments after the game. And ready for all your comments and all the good stuff that you guys always bring to the chat. You guys can watch that game on Bally Sports Extra, I believe, and ESPN Plus, which I need to renew. So I'll be doing that. But
you mean to tell me you guys didn't have ESPN Plus and were watching the thrilling games this week, such as Atlanta United 2 and New York Rebels 2?
I missed it.
That was a thriller, real thriller.
Not,
you missed it.
Yeah,
You missed a great 1-0 match there
Wednesday
in the rain.
All right, y'all. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you on Saturday. Until then, take care.